Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are looking at the Bitcoin chart right now and they're thinking, why isn't it going up higher? It breached 100K. It got a weekly candle close above 100K. It's been above 100K for days on end now, around 102,000 to 104,000. Why isn't it surging? Everyone expected for years on end, once Bitcoin broke 100K, it would go parabolic. I'm going to tell you exactly why it's not surging today. There is a hidden resistance zone coming through from the Bitcoin power law chart that many people are not watching right now. I'm also going to be discussing the immediate short-term weakness we are seeing. We can see that on both the 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart. It is quite speculative. These patterns have not really developed properly yet, but there is weakness there, that's for sure. I'll discuss Ethereum, I'll discuss the altcoin market, and I will discuss the Bitcoin macro and the phase in which we are in right now from a cyclical perspective. A few things to discuss today, mainly looking at the Bitcoin resistance and what's going on in this price region and extrapolating that over to altcoins as well. Before we get into it, please leave a comment down below. I really appreciate it. Chuck an emoji, chuck a hello down there, chuck a thank you, anything you want. Takes 10 seconds of your time, and check out the exchanges here. We've got two global non-KYC exchanges, the Bitcoin exchange and the Blowfin exchange. You can sign up to either of these exchanges from anywhere in the world. It takes you literally 15 seconds to sign up. Just an email address and a password, and you're good to go and start trading. No identity verification is required. You can do so if you want to, but it's not required. And with my referral links down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount on Bitcoin. Blowfin's an alternative option. Check them out with my links down below. I appreciate that, and you need to get on a good exchange, so go ahead and do so. 13-year ascending support line on Bitcoin in yellow. It acted as resistance and support going back from 2011. All these major moves you can see on the chart right here, knocking back the price, bouncing the price off of it. Very, very major line. We were below it during the latter part of the consolidation that vasted or spanned throughout from March through to October this year. It was quite concerning being below it, but we've broken above it. Furthermore, if we go to the daily chart, we can see this pink line right here stemming backwards from the lows in February, going through to the lows in May, going through to rejections on the highs in July, is acting as very strong support, which is actually holding up Bitcoin in this current structure. We're going to come back and look at this in a second, but it's very important you understand that. Why is Bitcoin moving the way it's moving? Well, it has resistance here, which I'll talk about in a second from a hidden chart that you probably aren't aware of, and then it has support from this pink line right here. Diagonal support that, again, a lot of people are not aware of, that stems backwards from February. Is a very specific reason why Bitcoin is moving in the way it's moving right now. This is not necessarily an ascending channel formation. It's not necessarily an ascending wedge formation. There's no identifiable structure here, okay? There's nothing clear about what this is, which is making it very, very hard to trade. But you have to understand it is getting its structure from somewhere. And those places, in my view, are this pink line right here and also the Bitcoin power law chart. What is the Bitcoin power law chart? It is a chart that previously in price cycles aimed to predict the exact price of the tops and bottoms on Bitcoin utilizing a logarithmic channel formation. Now, this is not what we're using it for this time, but what we see is there's a center line, there's an upper line, there's a lower line. And right now, what you see is the center line in green. Take a good look here. The center line in green is where we are finding resistance on Bitcoin. In fact, it's where we found resistance on Bitcoin back at 74K in March, which was one of the only charts in the entire market telling us that there was resistance at 74K. So we know that this line matters. We know that it is a strong resistance zone, and we are finding resistance in that vague resistance region right now. Again, we have not broken above the Bitcoin power law resistance until we get above, let's say, let's just say 104K decisively. It's hard to say exactly where it is. It's a vague level. But until we get above it properly and cleanly and on a massive move, we're not above it, right? We're still finding resistance in that price region. This is where the Bitcoin resistance is coming from. It's coming from the power law chart. Now, why is it important to understand that? Well, first and foremost, you just need to know where resistance is coming from, because if you don't know where it's coming from, you don't know when you're above it. And if you don't know when you're above it, you don't know when to buy, okay? But second of all, it's important because it drags our attention away from the short-term and medium-term price action. We don't need to be too concerned right now about the actual immediate Bitcoin charts. Bitcoin right now on the immediate term, it's not really doing anything particularly interesting, okay? It's in price discovery. We've never been this high before. There is no historical analysis we can do here. It's not like we can look back in 2021 and see what happened at this price region. We've never been here before. We've only got a few weeks of data in this price region. And so it's very, very limited data. And given the fact that it's limited data, all the short-term and medium-term analysis we do is just pretty much up in the air, up for debate, very speculative. We'll do it anyway. We'll do it in a second here. But for the most part, we need to be focusing on what actually matters. What matters are, in my view, this pink line right here, which is the support holding up this trend, and also this power law resistance level, which is a vague resistance around that 100k region that we need to be clearing decisively before we can be confident in a follow-up Bitcoin move. Now, as for short term, we look at the 4-hourly chart and we see very clearly here descending volume in the upwards trend. We also see on the hourly chart a very clear triangle formation on the hourly chart RSI and a speculative triangle formation on the hourly chart price as well. Now, these are technically bullish structures. Okay, technically speaking, when you see a triangle in an upwards trend, it leads to a break to the upside. But I'm not totally convinced. All I know is the triangle is there, and when we break above it, cool, then it's active. When we break below it, cool, then it's active. I don't necessarily know where it's going to go. I see mixed signals everywhere here. Just the fact that we have descending volume in the upwards trend, the fact that we have a structure resembling something like a channel, broadly speaking, it's quite concerning. I don't think this is the strongest structure here on short-term, medium-term. I'm not going to spend too much time on it for reasons I listed before. There's nothing really to say. There's no clear structures here in general. What I will say is this, okay? Bitcoin is at resistance. It's not below support, so it's lurking in between resistance and support. But right now, from a macro perspective, and here's where it gets interesting, we don't really have much of a reason to be immediately bullish on Bitcoin, okay? Macro-wise, we know that Bitcoin moves cyclically. We know currently that Bitcoin is basically copying 2021, okay? We had the resistance here in yellow from the prior all-time high. We broke above that resistance. We entered a parabolic move. The exact same thing's happening right now. We kind of speculate at this point that Bitcoin could be topping out on that macro move. You know, if not here, maybe a little bit higher. But the fact of the matter is, if it was here, if we did top out here on that first macro move, it wouldn't be the end of the world. We'd see a bull market correction, then we continue to be upside, just like we did in 2021. So if we started correcting here, it would make sense cyclically, and therefore there's no real reason why we can't see it, because we don't have any short-term data. The short-term, medium-term data doesn't exist yet. We've only been in this price region for a few weeks in Bitcoin's entire price history, and the macro data is kind of just like, well, we can correct here, that's fine. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? It doesn't actually really matter what happens to Bitcoin here, because as we said, it can very well go down right here. It wouldn't be a problem cyclically. It can also continue upwards here. It also wouldn't be a problem cyclically. But either way, Bitcoin isn't the concern right now. You know, Bitcoin is not what people are buying right now. We're in an altcoin season. Bitcoin dominance is dropping. We look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, for example, and we overlay it with the current chart we're looking at on Bitcoin. And we see that just like here on this leg in 2021, which we're copying right now, Bitcoin dominance started crashing on that leg. Altcoins started outperforming Bitcoin on that leg. It's happening again. So there's no question as to whether you should really buy Bitcoin right now. I mean, kind of the answer is quite obvious. Of course you shouldn't, cyclically speaking. And again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what the cycle is saying. So then it comes back to like, well, should we buy altcoins? What should we be doing with altcoins? And if we look at the Ethereum chart, we overlay it with Bitcoin. We can see that on the Bitcoin correction in 2021, which dragged Bitcoin down 32%, Ethereum barely budged. Ethereum just kept going up, and the same with altcoins. So it doesn't look like altcoins are in any like immediate danger right now. Now, obviously that could change. This is only one data point, but just if we're going off the data point, which is really all we have to go off in this price region, altcoins aren't in any immediate danger. And it doesn't actually matter what happens with Bitcoin as long as it remains above 76k or 74,000, which is the cutoff point, basically, which is the prior high. So we're kind of just waiting. We know where the trigger points are on altcoins, by the way. When altcoins do start heating up properly again, we know that when Ethereum breaks from its March high, that will be a pretty big breakout point. And the same can be said with the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart, which is the altcoin market cap chart. We formed a weekly candle close right on top of the 2021 all-time high. Very strong resistance right there. So perhaps if you are an altcoin buyer or a prospective altcoin buyer, you'd be waiting for those breakouts. You'd be waiting for a total 3 candle above that 2021 high on the weekly chart. You'd be waiting for Bitcoin to break the March high. That seems logical to me. That seems like a lower risk strategy. But if we're looking from a macro scale, it would be slightly surprising if we saw significant altcoin market corrections and sustained altcoin market corrections here, or even if Bitcoin went downwards. It would be slightly surprising. Not majorly surprising, because obviously Bitcoin generally controls the market. But if we're talking about this fractal from 2021, yeah, it'd be slightly surprising, okay? Now, I'm not saying altcoins won't go down. I still think the most conservative strategy is to actually wait until that breakout on the total 3 in the weekly chart and that breakout on Ethereum. I'm just making a cyclical observation. If we are copying 2021, we should not see a sustained altcoin correction even if Bitcoin drops. That's if we are copying 2021, which it looks like we are, but perhaps that changes, okay? Here's my overlying conclusion. Doesn't really matter what happens with Bitcoin right now. Sounds stupid to say, but it's true. Bitcoin can go down, it can go up. And both of them, if it went up and went down, it would both make equal sense from a macro cyclical perspective. Given the fact we don't have any short-term and medium-term data to go off, that's all we have to go off. So literally, I don't care what happens with Bitcoin here. It means nothing to me. What I care about is altcoins. Do altcoins drop with Bitcoin? Does Bitcoin drop to begin with, and then do altcoins drop with Bitcoin? Or do altcoins continue upwards even if Bitcoin drops? Those are the big questions right now to me personally, and we just don't really have any new answers there. So we know where the resistance is. It's coming from the Powerwall chart. We know it's around that 100,000 price region. We know that Bitcoin needs to clear that price region in order to start the next leg, but anything else is kind of just irrelevant other than how altcoins react to Bitcoin right now, and I'll keep you updated on that in future videos. So I know it's a bit of a weird video today. I didn't really come to any sharp conclusions. There's just not much to say. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. There's no point trying to make everything sound very, very, very important. That would be lying, right? I'm not here to lie. I'm here to keep you updated on the markets. So thank you for watching, guys. If you appreciate the content, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I really mean that. I know people say it a lot, but it does actually help a lot if you do that. And also check out the not the Crypto Academy. Wrong thing. You can check out the Crypto Academy if you want. It's an educational course down below. Or you can check out the exchanges here. The Bitfinex exchange, the Blowfin exchange are 2 global non-KYC exchanges that I advertise on this YouTube channel, okay? If you sign up with my referral link, you can get a 15% trading fee discount on Bitfinex. You can sign up to Blowfin if you want an alternative option. I hand-picked these exchanges. They did not reach out to me. I reached out to them because I like them. I use them personally. So, if that means anything to you, you can check them out. Links are down below. And the last thing I'll mention is the VIP group on Telegram. You can see it right there. I've got a 78.35% win rate over about, 2 years, close to 2.5 years of trading results right there. All of the results, all of the wins, all of the losses are fully transparently available in that PDF document. You can also check out the membership itself, of course, which is the main part. 4 trading plans per week posted with buy, sell, stop loss, everything you need in video format, and also access to a group chat. Check it out if you're interested, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you tomorrow.